So, do you need to learn how to discharge debt? So, I talk a lot about this. And the reason why is because this is one of the topics that most of my followers ask me questions about. So, that's why I've been trying to explain it more. But it's a lot more involved. The thing is, you have to learn the learn the procedures, and then once you learn certain protocols or procedures, then you can apply your own remedy. So the one that I sell here is using consumer law, and it's mostly for using the coupon, and it this one is more catered to credit card bills and utilities, things like that. So when you have on the public side, and this is on the public side as a consumer, so there's also a way to do it on the private side, and that's why I have the secured party creditor. That is kind of like I just have the process there, and then it's like resources to help you learn more. But I have learned about the secured party creditor, and I have some more advanced information that I want to teach people, and I'll be coming out with it. And this shows you how to use the security agreement and stuff like that to take control of your accounts and actually get what people are talking about, the proceeds from the remittance coupon. So if you want to learn how to do it on the private side, you do have to, the secured party creditor way. That's what that is. You can also do it through consumer law. You could do it through court of equity. You can also do it lawfully. It's like there's different ways to discharge debt, but there's also ways to use the remittance coupon on a regular basis to get your bills paid. This aims to do that, but when you get it, it's a guide. So it's like you're going to have to read through it and understand it, why it's good, what the guide is, because sometimes when people start out, it's like, I don't know which laws to use. I don't know how to apply them. I don't know how to write it in an affidavit. So that's it shows you like an example affidavit. See, that's what I mean by this is kind of how it goes. You have to learn how to write a notice, how to write an affidavit, how to write a conditional acceptance. So sometimes when you have a template, then it's going to show you, oh, okay, this is how someone did it. Someone that had success did it. So that's what I'm selling. So it's like after you get it, you can start reading through it and see how it started in the beginning. And then I laid out my facts. And then, I'm asking for a remedy. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to say like, hey, I found out my consumer rights are not being upheld, and I'm putting you on notice. I'm sending you these legal documents to put you on notice, because everyone's like, no, I don't want to do that. But that's what it is. They made you sign a contract. They made you contract with them, and you did it because you wanted something. So that's a legal binding contract. So unless what they gave you, they didn't fully disclose what it was, and you didn't understand it, and you didn't know all your consumer rights. So now the day comes along where you do want to learn how to do this, because guess what? It's actually a gift to you. It's just it's just hidden, yeah, in laws and stuff like that, and people have found remedies. But to say that these corporations that put you in a contract that made you make payments even after you know that this credit is yours and it's already paid for, but they made you sign something to make payments. That is the promissory note. So, but it's like there is a way. Yes, there is a remedy to use the coupon to get, because that is it's a payment coupon, right? That's what they call it. It's attached to a bond. That's why they say they put the straw man, the all caps name is traded on the markets. Yeah, it's getting proceeds under your name. So the thing is to say, either as a consumer, oh, I didn't know I did that, and I want to fix the situation. That's what this affidavit does. You read through it, you find out you're asking for that back. Or you're either asking for it back, or you're asking for it to be applied to your monthly statements. A statement is not a bill. A statement is a true bill in commerce is an invoice. They're sending you statements with a payment coupon. That's something different. The statements that they're sending you are withholding statements. So if you understand accounting, that means they're withholding it from you. Kind of like they do with taxes. They withhold taxes from your paycheck if you had a job. You know about that. So this is all accounting. This is all book entries. I haven't learned it this way, but I actually do know about accounting because I actually, when I worked and when I went to college, I got a degree in that. So I do understand about the accounting. So that's what it is. They're book entries, because if you know there's no money, I don't want to go that deep with it, but basically this is usually how it goes for most people. They might learn it and they might send them a letter or something, and then what happens is usually these companies have an automated response for you. So it's like, oh, you didn't pay, we're going to charge you a fee. If you know, late fees are illegal too. It's like all the things that they're violating your in the automated response, their computer violates your consumer rights to tell you. It continues with the thing of you signed a contract, blah blah blah. But the thing is, once you put them on notice, legally or lawfully, they're supposed to respond, but instead they have their computer just give you an automated response, another threatening kind of response, saying they're gonna they try to do advance your loan, which is actually adverse action, which again is illegal. So you see, they're constantly violating your consumer rights. If you speak to a consumer lawyer, one that actually does stuff, they'll tell you, oh yeah, I'm going to be busy all year, because they're constantly violating consumer rights. Yeah. So, but if you go down that road, you're not going to get the full remedy usually, unless that lawyer is like your best friend and they're willing to do it for you. But most of them won't, because they don't learn these types of things. These are kind of things that are like a hack in the system or something like that. I'm not going to say they are. That's why some people call it, you're exiting the matrix. When you realize what the matrix is, you realize, oh, wait a second, my all caps name is a legal name that I'm doing business with? Oh, and then I'm just a regular person and I can't actually do business with other corporations. So that's why they gave me this legal name. So yeah, that's what it is. And that's what it is. It's about learning what credit really is, learning what the contracts really are telling you. The thing is, in the contract, they made you sign something to say, it's almost like saying, you didn't loan me. It's almost like saying, I didn't pull your credit and you owe me stuff, because do you want to make payments? It's not even what it actually is, and sign this. So, and you do it, because that's not the way they tell it to you. They just tell it, they loaned you something, which they didn't. 12 USC 1431, powers of banks, they don't loan. They don't loan. So that's the thing. It's like, there's your evidence. You know what I'm saying? They don't loan. So that's what you have to have. The thing is, in these illegal things, you're writing them to notify them. They respond badly. So when they send you that adverse action, do you know what to do? Most people panic. No, for me, that's like, oh, okay, Exhibit A. Because in my notice, I told you not to do that. I told you do not take. I'm invoking my consumer right. Please do not take adverse action against me. And then they do. But it's not them really. It's just their computer. It just automatically spits out the things automatically. And you have to know that. It's like, oh, okay, that's just the normal thing. So that's why some people, when they're doing this, they keep paying their bill until they get the remedy. But I know some people can't because they're actually behind. And so that happens to them. And it could happen to you. Yeah, it could still happen. They could still take adverse action so that you would hold them liable for that. Yeah, because they're not supposed to do that. And plus, you asked them not to do that. So what do you think is the next process after you send them these notices? And sending you an adverse action is not rebutting your affidavit point by point. So that's why I was showing 10 maxims of commercial law, showing that they're supposed to. They're governed by the UCC, and that's one of the maxims of law, that an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in commerce, and they are governed by that. And that's prejudicial. And I don't want to get too complicated with this, but and this is not legal advice. Absolutely, this is for entertainment purposes and educational purpose. Oh, and I'm just sharing knowledge with you because that's what it is. And to be honest with you, they are not going to share this with you. They're never going to share this with you because did they share it with you when you signed those contracts? There are things in there that you want to change. That's the thing. You already have an agreement with them. And if you want to change those terms and conditions to uphold your consumer rights, if you're doing it this way, then, but even if you were doing it another way to uphold your rights, basically, what do you think? After you've notified them, what do they do, right? You have a contract with them and you stop performing, right? You stop making the payments. What do you think happens? They start doing the process to you, start sending you the notices, right? So that's what you're doing to them, sending them. That's how the process works in our country and the world. A lot of these things in the world for the law, that's just the way it works. And they believe ignorance of the law is no excuse. They also believe if you don't assert your rights, you have none. So that is the thing. You can go out there and petition all you want, but that's not going to change your life or change your circumstance or make them uphold your rights. You're not doing that. So a lot of people are scared and they say, oh no, I don't want to do that. But that's the way it is. Once you've put them on notice and you have the evidence, what do you think the next step is? It's like, hey, they're not listening to me, so I'm going to have to go get either, if you have an arbitration clause, you can go to arbitration and try to show them, hey, I found out my consumer rights are being violated, or however it is you're going to say it. And you present your information and your evidence and state why you need things fixed. You need to get remedy. And also, where you could do the arbitration, you could say, okay, I'm going to just take them to court. I'm going to take them either to small claims court. I'm going to take them to federal court, or whichever one it is, civil, whichever one you decide. But if you do decide on one, they all have things that show you the procedures. And they have people there that you can ask them. So if you're like, okay, I want to file a lawsuit, then it's in small claims court, then you go to their website and they actually have all the steps there. And once you do it, you might be like, well, I still have questions. Well, the person that you're filing it with, the clerk, you ask them. They're not going to tell you like the laws and everything because they don't even know your case. But they're like, okay, I filed it. What's next? They're going to be like, you can, what, one thing you can do is before you have a hearing, you can enter your evidence and your stuff into the case. A lot of people don't even do that. So they can already see what you're coming for and whatever. So, also, if they respond, you have to answer back, especially if it's debt and they're still trying to say you owe it. Well, you need to deny that because you know you don't now. And the next thing is they have to validate that. Please validate the debt, which they can't usually. So it's like, who's going to win when you answer it, right? So that's the thing. You see, that stuff does hold up in courts, but because you do not, but there's even, that's just to get it removed. But it's like, yes, there is a way to do it monthly with your bills, with the coupon, yes, to get the value of it, the credit out of it. Again, you don't have that agreement with them. So that's why you're trying to reestablish a new one. And if they still don't listen to you, how do you enforce it? You got to go to one of those places, right? You got to go to enforce it in a hearing somewhere. And it's just presenting your information and saying, look, this is owed to me and I'm just here to claim it, basically. So that's what it is. So you have to get your fear over that. But before you do that, you got to study to know what you're doing. So when you get in there, so it's like, even if you do file it, when I did it, it was like, okay, I asked the clerk, okay, what's next? Can I enter? I already knew about entering evidence. I was like, can I enter it now? Can I enter it early? And they're like, do you don't want to wait until they answer? They told me. And it's like, that's when I found out, oh, there's an answer. So it's like, oh, make sure. Then I looked that up. I looked it up online and researched. Oh, okay. Everyone's saying you have to answer. Most people don't answer. That's why they lose the case. And it's like, the answer is simple. It's like you're just denying. Most of the claims you deny. Because most of it is saying you owe this, you owe this, you owe this. And you're already telling them, no, I don't. Because I found out these laws and I found out there was stuff in this contract and I don't really owe it. So, and that's why I put you on notice. And now they're going to still, they'll still keep on saying no. Because a lot of times they don't even know. Like the customer service says, hey, you signed this contract. Everybody else is making payments. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, because they're not a lawyer and they're not. And even the lawyers might not even know. That's what's crazy. But they do know the procedures. So they'll just keep moving forward with you. And if you don't know, to answer and tell them to validate that if they're going to still, or you could do other stuff. Yeah. It depends on what type of court you're going in. Because some courts, you don't argue. Yeah. Like in court of equity and stuff, it's more, you're not really there to argue, It's more like you're looking for equity. And all, that kind of applies to in the lawful. It's the same thing. In the lawful, it's more like your equity is like your energy. That's what it is. Whatever energy it takes you to go work to make this money or to maintain this house, you get to charge whatever you want. It's like to anybody, it's like, oh, the bank thinks they own my house? Well, guess what? I lived here 10 years and you know how much sweat equity I put into this? I'm going to charge you what it costs and I charge whatever I want. If it's $1,000 a day, it's $1,000 a day. That's how much power you have as a man or a woman when you step out of the legal. But in the legal, they do have a lot of remedies, but they also do have a lot of courts. And they do have a lot of different ways to do it. And you have to know the procedures and what court you're. So it's a little bit more complicated. So what you do need to focus on is, what do you want? What do you want? What's your remedy that you want? What do you want? And you have to be able to express that. You're only as good as much as you can express. And I'm here to tell you, so I'm here to tell you these courts and these things are based on spiritual and religious things. Yes, a lot of it is based on that. You can literally find things in the Bible that are equivalent to this, that talk about this, actually, the lender and the debtor and all that other stuff. So, and also universal law, yeah, in religions, it's based on that. It doesn't matter if you are like that or not, but just know it is. So, and I can even, if you are like that, I was going to even show people where you can find it, where it talks about this. So, because that's pretty interesting to know. And why are they basing their stuff? Because if you know, I had a video about it, about how like a lot of the, and also Jordan, I think it's Jordan Maxwell that talks about the occult in commerce, like mortgage. They're talking about morgue, so that's kind of like dead speak, and the legal fiction, all these kind of esoteric words in there. So you can see that there's a form of spirituality. Yes, because in religions and spirituality, they have, there's dark and light. Yeah. So you can see how in their system they've put some type of spirit. You guess if it's dark or light. So anyway, in their system, they have a little bit of both, I think. But they have a lot of the dark, which is kind of strange. But anyway, that you decide what, so that is reflecting in your reality. So you decide, you use your discernment and decide what that means to you. Or you can use a dictionary or etymology, and then you'll definitely know what it means. But under lawful, and also under like certain equity courts, they do, there's the light side, right? Or the righteous side. So that's included in there too. So that's one interesting thing if you want to learn this all. Because if you're going to use an attorney or a lawyer, they're going to represent you. You don't present your stuff. They represent you. So you just say, hey guy, hey lady, please go represent me. I hope you give me what I want, And a lot of times they don't. So, and you're paying this retainer fee for somebody that didn't even do their job. Unless you really know the person and you trust them. And then, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to share knowledge that I've learned. Because, and I'm going to tell you why right now. Number one, I do have a good heart because that's just who I am. Number two, I'm a person like that. I'm a person that always had like dreams and stuff like that. And lately, the last few years, I've been getting prophetic dreams, which before it was just like fun stuff. But now it's like this thing started wrapping up, and it was about this. And actually, that's what I found out. I found the verse. I found what everybody's talking about, if you know. But I will share it one day, the esoteric in it, and how, I'm going to tell you right now, it's in the Bible, okay? So just to get that out of there, I'll show you what it means. Because there was somebody's last will and testament, if you know. And so that person, that last will and testament was for someone, for the people, right? So that's what it is. So that, and it's like, I want to explain that too. And also if you know law, so L for land, A for air, and W for water. So we're basically under the law of the sea, and the law of the land is for the man or woman. So under the law of the sea, you have to have the straw man because you're dealing in commerce. That's why it's the law of the sea. It's water. It's currency, like currents. See, and they use those words. Some people call them esoteric words because they're kind of hidden. But really, what does currency mean? I mean, it's not that. You kind of know. It's kind of like if you have the discernment, if you have the eyes to see it and the ears to hear it, you will say, oh, yeah. And if you have the dictionary to look it up, you'll also say, oh, yeah. So it's not just imaginary stuff. So it's like reality is hitting you in the face. So do you want, the thing about it is people are saying, oh, I'm scared of public officials. I'm scared of this guy. I'm scared of that guy. There's a way to hold them accountable. Nobody's hardly doing it. And that's why everyone's complaining. And that's why they're doing all this stuff. But, and I'm not saying go out there and just go crazy, but if someone's doing something to you directly, you can. If you feel like they're causing you harm directly, you can hold them accountable. And I do have a lot of that in my stuff. You can do it lawfully or legally. And that's what I posted because that was one of the other things that I was guided to share. I have posted as much as I can good information, but a lot of people say just go online and get it for free because a lot of it is free, but you just have to read it and you got to know where to read for what specific things. But really, that's how they're doing it. Every time they pass stuff in Congress, people are going, oh, they're going to do this to us now. Oh, they're going to do that to us. Well, don't you know you need to have an insurance? So if you step out of it and go, okay, I'm tired of this. I don't know all this legal stuff. I'm just a man or a woman. I don't know it all. I'm going to step out of your legal system and you're causing me harm as a man or a woman and I'm going to hold you accountable. And it's a lot easier to do it lawfully, to be honest, because sometimes in the legal system, you can run into shenanigans. But corruption, yeah. And then you will have to okay, give me your oath of office. Okay, give me your bond number. Which even that they will try to refuse. And then you have to do more, So it's like sometimes lawfully is easier because there's no statutes or codes or, statutes, codes, or acts, which actually do not apply to men and women. And they have said that. There's case law saying that. But if you're acting in your legal name and you're representing your legal name and you're acting in commerce because you want to, because you kind of have to in a lot of senses, unless you figure out if you want to do it privately and you learn how to do all that, because there is a lot that you can do on that side too. And I haven't shared everything, but this is the system we live in. And people are like, I don't want to do this, but this is the system that you live in. This is behind the scenes, what's really going on here. So, and people are like, it's because they didn't teach it to you in school. They made a pact. They decided we're not going to teach this to them in school. So that's how they rule you. So you can go out there and pick it all you want, but is that going to change anything? So it's like if someone's doing something, like they put in a new law about LLCs. Oh, now you have to do this or pay that or do something, right? So that's what they keep doing in the legal. Oh, now you have to do this. Oh, now you have to do that. Oh, now you have to and then pay more, That's what they keep doing. And what if you don't do it? They're saying, oh, you might go to jail. No. Yeah, if you agree to all those legal things, if you don't remove the presumption and the assumption, then yes, you do. But because you said I signed off on it and I will, That's the thing. Did you read the contract? Do you know the legalese? That's why you need the Black's Law Dictionary. You need the etymology dictionary to find out what it means in there. Once you kind of know what those things mean, you're like, oh, I see.